Welcome to yet another episode of Success Principles by Successful Principles. I'm your host. My name is Kamalneet Singh. For the ones who know me, it is Kamalneet Singh. For the ones who don't, the name is still Kamalneet Singh. The name doesn't change. Now, this series, Success Principles by Successful Principles, is a very special series, wherein educators par excellence from different parts of the country and different parts of the globe are coming together and bringing their inputs forward to you as a community, the parents, the teachers, the educators, so that in these tough times, in these challenging times, given the situation of pandemic, we all know that it's not easy. It's not easy for the kids. It's not easy for the parents. It's not easy for the teachers. It's not easy for the educators. But yes, when we come together and when we bring our collective intelligence out, it does make a difference to people out there. And having been interacting with teachers, kids, and parents, I see that with pandemic happening and with the current scenario, the challenges are only increasing. Now, I'll give you a little background about myself before we dive into the interview series. And I have been I've been a trainer working with teachers, kids, and parents. I've been a double TEDx speaker and author of a forthcoming book, The Extraordinary Kids. Now, one of the reasons I jumped into this line was that when I was a child, I struggled during my school days with speaking with confidence, with inferiority, and with a lot of other challenges. And I kind of made a decision that what I had gone through, uh, kids should not really go through it because sometimes it takes a huge toll on one's overall personality and one's thought process. And on this journey, I have these wonderful educators who joined, who agreed to come aboard and share their inputs so that you as parents, the parent community especially, can benefit from their large and vast experience. And so here I am today on this episode with somebody who is very special, somebody who is extraordinary, somebody who carries uh, almost 3 decades of experience from different schools, from different positions. And I know that all the parents watching this, you are in for a treat. You are in for a treat because sometimes we have access to very limited ideas. Sometimes they are within our own households. Sometimes they are coming from very limited people around from our surroundings. But when you hear ideas from educators, such as the one that we have today, it gives you a different angle altogether. And we have somebody very special. We have Miss Anuradha Handa with us today, who is the principal of GD Goenka Public School, Gurgaon, Sector 48. Madam, first of all, thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for taking out that time and being available for the community called parents so that your inputs, when they reach out, it makes a difference to them. And I know that you're busy with your own schedules. Despite that, you took out time. Now all the parents who are watching this, I know that you all are very happy to be parents. Yet at the same time, as a parent in this country, in fact, not only in this country but across, uh, we have we have everything. We have a degree to manufacture a pin, and we have a degree to manufacture a plane. Unfortunately, when it comes to parenting, majority of the times we are doing parenting by chance, and that sometimes, and there is nothing wrong with experimenting, but sometimes the damage that comes with an experiment is irreversible. And then we as parents, we feel that we could have avoided those mistakes had we known a little more about parenting. And for that, we have Anuradha Handa madam with us, and she will share some great inputs from not only about parenting but also some different areas which as a parent community you will definitely benefit from. So before we dive in, let me give you a little background about our panelists for today, and it's going to make a huge difference to you as parents. Now, I'll share a very quick thing about my journey as well. Now, I know that when I read or when I go out, when I take up sessions or when I meet with different people, uh, there is a certain thought process we already have. We all of us have a certain background, a certain thought process about how we look at things, how what are our beliefs, what do we value more. Now, when we do not break our own boundary, we are limited by our own very limited set of thought processes, which sometimes enable us, which sometimes empower us, and sometimes they also disempower because we don't even know what's outside our own boundaries. And one of the primary reasons to do this series is to give you an access to something which is not in your boundaries at the moment. And we have these wonderful educators who are participating in. Now, anybody as a parent is actually looking at, all the parents watching this, I know that one of the primary things that you are looking at is you want your kids to be successful, you want your kids to be happy, you want your kids to do something which is going to make you proud, which is also, and also something which is going to make a difference in their own life. Every parent wants the same. Now, it's been almost a decade, and having met all these parents, I keep hearing this one thing, that my child should exceed, my child should go to a level beyond me. My child should do much better than uh, what I did in my life. And it's only a parent who can say that. It's only a parent who can say that. And I'm sure Madam will agree with us. So what we'll do is we'll jump into the process. So about our panelists today, about the educator that we have with us today, we have Miss Anuradha Handa, founder principal of GD Goenka Public School, Sector 48, Gurugram. Uh, she has been rendering her priceless contribution to society as an educator since the last 3 decades. Now, 3 decades is a huge time. A postgraduate in physics from Delhi University with a professional degree in education, Ms. Anuradha Handa transitioned from a student to a teacher seamlessly when she joined as a physics faculty for senior secondary students at Modern School Vasant Vihar, the very school from where she studied and soon moved into the role of head of physics department. I'm also a big lover of physics and also metaphysics. Starting her journey from Modern School Vasant Vihar and spending 16 long years as a passionate physics teacher and head of department, she moved on to the position of leadership and worked with big names like Amity Noida and APJ Saket as vice principal. She then moved into the role of the principal at Amity Sector 46 Gurugram, a school with a strong student base of over 3,000. Her passion for education and rich experience she has gathered over the years has enabled her to develop a deep understanding of the teaching learning process and their impact on young minds. Ms. Handa's abilities as an equally efficient administrator while being an impassioned educator came to light during her role as vice principal, first at APJ School Saket and later at Amity International School, Noida, and principal of Amity International School Sector 46, Gurugram. She believes that the purpose of education must be to nurture children into happy individuals. I really like that statement because I think the goal of all the other goals is to be happy. And that's what she believes in, who carries a scientific temper that enables them to have a problem solving approach to life. Her profound love for physics has developed in her the ability of finding parallels between life and the laws of physics. Under her able leadership as founder principal, within a short span, GD Goenka Public School has become a formidable force that is unquestionably dedicated to raising little toddlers into responsible young agents of change. Students under her leadership have grown into outstanding individuals who contribute to walk on her footsteps and contribute to society through their work and passion. She is the proud recipient of the Best Principals Award in the Edu Leaders Summit and Awards 2020. Madam, it's a privilege for us to have you on this series. And, and I know that with your rich experience that you carry today, all the parents who will be watching this will have a different angle to how they look at parenting, will have a different angle to how they probably think at the moment. So, Madam, thank you for your time, and let's dive in. I have a few questions for you, right? And as I was speaking, that every parent wants that their child should become successful. They should become responsible. They should have a lot of good values. Now, with your kind of experience, what do you think it takes for a child to be successful in the real life? What's your take on that?
Okay. Uh, First of all, let me thank you for such a long introduction. So while you were speaking, I realized that actually, 30 years have gone by.
Long
Uh,
time.
but being in a place where I am, I think I just didn't feel that 3 decades have gone by. That's because, there's always been that love for doing what I'm doing. Now coming to the question that you asked, that, what makes a child successful in life? So for that, first of all, what does the word success mean to us as parents, as educators, or as individuals? So the answer depends on that. Whether success is about a child, having a lot of bank balance, a lot of followers in the digital space, a lot of influence on others, or successful individual is one who carries a strong value system, is emotionally sound, is able to strike a balance in life and carries the life forward with a lot of responsibility, and is able to take the right decisions, and is therefore able to take care of himself, herself, and the family. You know, the materialistic gain or the position in society is a byproduct. So for me, what I spoke of later is what success is all about, where, in school, we have to lay the foundation of this kind of a future for child, and even at home, where our greater emphasis is on bringing up the children in a way that they are in sync with the society, and they are able to lead a life of value. That is, they are value creating citizens. So for me, such children, when they grow up, they are able to make a greater difference to the society, become role models for others, and that's what I would measure the success to be.
I think that's a brilliant definition. All the parents watching this, I think this should ring a bell with you, because when I get a chance to speak to parents or kids, and when I actually ask, how do you really define success? The funny thing is that almost about 80% of the kids present in the class would say that, when I have so and so, when I have that, the red shiny car, or when I have that big house, when I can travel abroad, I think all the parents out there, you will be equally surprised that this is what the kids talk about in terms of success. But this definition that has come from you, I am sure this is an eye opener for all the parents watching this. What we're basically referring to here is a holistic approach to success, and not a very very unidirectional approach in terms of acquiring things. And I think it's also not only for the parents, it's quite a learning from you, because you did touch on a couple of aspects in terms of holistic development, holistic approach to overall success. And I think if parents watching this, if you look at success in this 360-degree way, you will be able to communicate with your kids this very definition, of course, with your own inputs as to what success means to you. I think I'm equally happy to listen to what you just said. I think we can probably pass on an activity to the parents by, and it is a very simple one, which is that all the parents watching this, why don't you ask your kids, what does success mean to them? And when you hear the answers, I think that it will open your mind also into their world. It will give you an idea as to what do they think about success. And for me, it's a learning as well when we look at such a 360-degree approach. Now, we have been speaking about, you also mentioned about the holistic approach, the overall approach that we are looking at in terms of success. And of course, the definition of success is very different from one person to the other. Now, referring back to what you just said about holistic development, if I may ask, now at GD Goenka Public School, what are some activities, or what are some practices that we follow towards holistic development?
So the whole working of the school and the culture of the school is based on the fact that we are going to prepare our children for life. where living is a part of life. To earn your living and to be successful in life is a part of it, but it is not something that, that's the only focus, that you do well, you get marks, you earn a good degree. uh, when we look at people at place of work, wherever we are, human interactions are very, very important. I should be able to become an effective part of a team. I should be able to lead an effective team. I should have problem solving approach. I should be an honest person. This is what we are looking for when we are working, when we are recruiting people in our school as teachers. These are the qualities that we are looking for. So that's the kind of preparation that we have to do for and with children, so that that's how, when they grow up, that's what they carry forward. So for that, of course, we make sure that our children are strong academically. We give them opportunities in sports, in activities, in every aspect of education. But along with that, we make sure that the core of the child stands addressed at every stage. That is, the child acquires the capability to have expression, clear thinking, valuing goodness. Now, how do you value goodness? See, whatever we pay attention to grows in life. That's a simple saying that I believe in a lot. So, if we are paying attention to the goodness exhibited by a child, the children would be encouraged to exhibit good behavior. So, for that, we do a program which we call as Gracious Goenka, in which we have our children doing their self-appraisal on little values that you have to have, which are age appropriate. And those who do good, or who model that behavior, we give them a certificate. Now that becomes an inspiration for others to follow. Similarly, we talk of the children who are moving towards teenage and adolescence. At that age, there are a lot of things that the children undergo in terms of hormonal changes, psychological changes, physiological changes. Their friendships become very important. So there we have a program which we run, which we call as Values in Visual Art program, where we make use of school cinema, where we make use of counselors, discussions, theater, art, and help our children to imbibe those qualities and life skills and address those issues, which, if are not addressed, will change the course of their life and journey. We know that it is at this age, as the children are especially tending towards teenage, that they tend to get defocused. They tend to be relying too much on their friends, moving a little away from parents. So you have to equip them, empower them, address their questions. Similarly, when the children come to their senior wing, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, now that's an important time where they have to take important decisions of life. So one is that go the regular way, look at their marks and let them choose their subjects. And, the other is allow them to be exposed to that. If I want to be something in my, follow a certain profession, what is the kind of life that I will lead? Am I in sync with it? Do I feel good about that? So we have a program through which we do career guidance, life skill training, hard skill training, soft skills training, hard skill training, So such programs become the base of our school, working of our school. We have student-led clubs. Students have created the curriculum for that club, and they are the ones who are taking classes with the children. So so this is what we work on, the holistic development, where along with laying a strong foundation of their academics, they being exposed to all activities and all sports and making their own choices about excelling in the area that they want, but most importantly, allowing them, giving them training of, harnessing their character, their value system, their life skills, their competencies, their confidence, their expression, and giving them a lot of opportunities. So that's how the whole 14-year journey of a child in school, at every age, along with acquiring excellence, or along with acquiring proficiency, I wouldn't use the word excellence, proficiency in other aspects of education, as a human being, as a person, the proficiency in your value system and your life skills. So those programs that we do, whether it is through assemblies, presentations, annual days, so that's the proper integration that happens. So the focus always remains on the growth and development of the child as a unique individual.
Which I think, I've been listening to you very, very intently with an intention to understand. And I see that it's a buffet. You know, what you provide is a, uh, what do you call, is a large buffet, and the child is being served every bit of something, and then wherever he would want, whatever he likes more, he can choose to probably eat more of that or learn more of that, so to say. So I think, I
And
believe,
just maybe I'll add one this thing to it, just to give clarity and give shape to what you're talking. So, actually, if you look at NEP also now is talking of that the children, we have 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4, that kind of a division. So GD Goenka has always had that kind of a division. So first 5 years are the years of exposure and laying a strong foundation. Then comes classes 3, 4, 5, where you have to build their skills. Then comes the time of making choices and growing in the field of, what you choose. And finally comes the 4 years where you have to get ready for the rest of the life. So making choices about your subjects, about your careers, leadership positions, taking lead, having expression, and reaching the stage of intrinsic motivation, where the learner understands that the need to learn and do well in life is mine, and being empowered to take decisions,
so I
and
think,
be able to take the right decision. So developing right thinking has to happen throughout the journey of school.
which I think is a brilliant step. I heard, I know that this is going to be available for everybody, but then I would not shy away. I really wish, I can now only say that because I really wish that while I was growing up, I had access to such a buffet, such an array of services wherein the focus would have been on overall development. And my days. One, that I had my challenges with confidence and a lot of other issues. Yet at the same time, the kind of exposure that you are talking about, which is being given to Goenkans under your leadership, was not accessible to me at least, and maybe to my peers at that time. I heard you talking about the program, which is Gracious Goenkans. The name is, in fact, very, very gracious. And at the same time, I also heard you talking about that there are clubs which are led and created. I'll rather say created as well as led by students themselves. Now, I think that's a huge opportunity in terms of displaying leadership. Now, I'll connect this to all the parents watching. You said something in the beginning, which is that the focus in our school is to prepare kids for the real life, and I think I can repeat this to I think hundreds of times, and till it rings a strong bell with the parents, all the parents. I think there is a strong message which is arising out of the conversation, that be focused on preparing your kids for life and not just for exams, because when you focus only till exams, I think it's a short sighted focus. But the long shot is when you're preparing your kids for real life. So I'm happy and jealous also, by the way. I'm happy for your kids because they are getting a lot of exposure. I'm jealous because I wish that I had that kind of an exposure while I was growing up. And you spoke about uh, that there is a focus on values a lot. There is a huge focus on discovery, I understand, in the school. There is a huge focus on life skills again, and which I think is brilliant. And I know that with such an exposure coming in, the Goenkans, when they move out into the real world, they'll create success on their terms, whatever it means to them. I'm very sure on that. So I would also like to congratulate you for all the brilliant efforts that you're putting in, because having heard this, and I want to be very honest, I felt jealous that, why did I miss out on so much? Uh, so tell
Let
me.
me tell you, Kamalit, I honestly appreciate honesty a lot. So we've always given that freedom to our children to be just honest with what they feel and come up with things, even if we don't have it in the system, we'll get it into the system, you
True.
know, but come out with it. Recently, a student of mine has come out with a proposal to have an interesting newspaper.
Right.
Now he wants to give it a different name, and
Hmm.
all the details of what he wants, the kind of proposal a class 9 child has submitted,
Right.
he will put a lot of people from corporate to shame. Sorry to say, that's the level. And this child joined us in class 2, our first batch student, and I'm so happy that he's got so much confidence.
Right.
So when you're talking of holistic development, this is holistic development. And that one line that he writes, that ma'am, if you give way to this proposal, I will personally interview the people who will be part of the editorial board. Look at his confidence.
That's nice. So you're seeing the bud blooming right in front of your eyes.
Yes.
Yep. Brilliant. So we have been talking about success on different terms. It can mean different things to different people. So I'm going to dive deep into your personal mantra on success. So what is that one thing, or probably what are those couple of things that led you to such a great success? What would that be? And I also have a request to make. Don't be miser. Share as much as you can, because the parents will also be able to look at it from an angle which will benefit them and their kids. So your mantra for success.
So one thing that I in one sentence, if I was to say it very simply,
No, not one sentence.
I'll elaborate on that. But it starts with, you can create a building, but your unit cell has to be clear with you. Then it is only that you use that unit cell in different way to create different lattice out of it. And you can have so many structures, but be very clear with what your unit cell is. And my unit cell is that do what you believe in and believe what you do. Believe in what you do.
Right.
So try and have a simplistic outlook. Be honest. You should be able to speak what you feel, do what you feel, and create an environment where people also get that feeling of, where they are encouraged to be honest, where they can freely express themselves, and yet not cross those fine lines where they end up hurting someone when you are being, So those abilities, if we are able to actually develop ourselves, model them, and develop it in our children, I think the world would be simpler. We are struggling with the duality.
True.
We are struggling in our life, in society, where the trust is going missing.
True.
So if we are able to recreate that trust, so I think that is something that I have always, from my side, tried, that in life, just be transparent, be honest, and do things with conviction, and create that conviction around you, whether it is in your team, or it is in the people you are dealing with, in family, in the society. So that is something which I feel takes you a long way, because, here, what really helps you is, because I was studying, I've recently taken some workshops also on the mind. Mm-hmm. So a child is born with a superconscious mind. A superconscious mind is a mind which is free, which has free expression, which doesn't, they don't pretend, they ask questions.
Yeah.
It's just, so that if a superconscious mind is allowed to grow, it grows into a spontaneous mind where your gut feeling is very strong.
True.
Where you are able to, when you are in a certain situation, you are promoted by your mind to take some steps. And then these children develop a very beautiful collective conscience. That means they are able to make positive connections with the society.
True.
People look up to you.
True.
Strong CCM.
True.
So this is what ultimately would lead to success. When you are not carrying any unnecessary load on your mind, your gut feeling is strong, you're making good connections with people, you are carrying conviction in what you're doing, people around you are carrying conviction in what you are doing, they trust you, you trust them, you have confidence on yourself and your work, and the team that you are working with has confidence in you and on themselves, an empowered team. Now that's what leads to success. So I have been fortunate that I've always been, whether I was in modern school or I was in Amity or I'm in Goenka, I have been able to work with my team and my students in a way to make those deep connections, where we express, we share, So we are very clear that if we are working in the interest of the children, whatever we have to do, at the end of the day, their interest has to be, taken care of. Now that's our focal point, and everybody works around that. So there are no clashes. So we are able to create a positive environment. Positive environment of trust, environment of fairness, transparency will always bring happiness. Everyone will feel connected to that cause. And that's what leads to success. So whether it is success at the level of individual, at the level of society, at the level of family, at the level of organization, I think these are the very basics. So that's what I said. The fundamental, the unit cell that you are creating as an individual. What is your investment in that?
Correct. So I'm borrowing this from you. I'm borrowing this from you right now, and I'm asking all the parents watching this that what is your investment? What are you really investing to ensure that I'm not talking about, when I say investment, I'm not talking about the money per se, but what are you investing overall to ensure that your child becomes successful in the so-called real world? Are you investing your time? Are you investing your energy? Are you investing to create an environment, the positive environment that you spoke about? Are you creating that kind? Are you making that kind of an investment? Are you making an investment in terms of being conscious of what you say to your child, so that he's not negatively impacted? And I heard you, madam, talking about super conscious kids. So I'm a father to a 4.5 years old notorious son. The other day, kids are actually very transparent and honest, and they just say what they feel. The other day he asked me that, why is it that an ant can walk up the wall and we cannot? And I was caught in the middle of a situation, and I had no answer to it. And I thought, instead of making up some answers and giving some answers to him, I told him that I don't know. But yes, the question is brilliant. You give me half an hour, I will check and come back to you. And he said, no, but I want to know now. So I said, come and sit with me. Let me Google it up. And so he doesn't understand what does Google it up mean. I said, let me find out and I'll share it with you. So I read through Google and some theory on what makes ants walk, and I shared it with him. Now, the point being that kids, if we can become kids, because we have a child within us, which we kind of suppress. If that child comes out and expresses freely, I think it's going to be a better world altogether. And I think the mantras that you gave to be successful, I think they very much apply to the parents who are looking at success for themselves and success for also their kids at home. And now the situation that we are in, it's pandemic, and otherwise also, with 3 decades of experiences that you have dealt with thousands of parents, I know by now. Some of them who would walk into to walk into the school with a different angle altogether, with sometimes happy, sometimes angry over something or the other. You have dealt with so many of them. What do you see, or rather let me put it this way: if you have to give out your top 3 suggestions or advices to parents so that they can become better parents and help create or raise better kids, what would those 3 suggestions be?
Okay, 3 suggestions. I think the first suggestion is what I take from you, what you just said, Kamalneet, that allow your children to stay curious, creative, transparent, address their curiosity in a way that it leads to more creativity, it leads to stronger values, and the children learn to think themselves. They are, try and make them uh, independent, because if you will work towards making them independent and they will develop independent thinking, they will surely go beyond what you are. You see, as parents, like you had mentioned earlier, that as parents we always aspire that our children should do better than us. Definitely, why not? So this is what is one way of helping your children grow beyond you, because what you could not see is what they would see. Why do you want them to see with your eyes? Let them see with their own eyes. So develop in them that ability to be able to think, see, analyze. So hold their hand, but give them freedom. You know, as they grow, keep increasing the range of that freedom. So as a parent, that's what you have to think and invest in, not on giving just the material gains. Now, no, I hope I'm not interpreted as someone who's against materialism or something. No, what I'm saying is when we focus on this, all of that is a byproduct.
Yes.
You tell me that if a child knows what is good for me, right, is participating in school activities, is doing all kind of things, and is aspiring to be in a good university, doing well there, so obviously they will charter their roadmap in a way that they know that for me to be eligible, I have to get these many marks.
True.
So getting those marks will then be the responsibility of the child.
True. True.
So motivate your children, guide your children. Okay.
It's a reverse engineering process that you are suggesting.
Yes.
If we engineer the roadmap the right way, all the probably the materialistic things or whatever things that we're referring to is going to be a byproduct as a part of the journey.
Absolutely. And make sure that your children carry emotional fortitude, they are emotionally strong. Spiritual quotient has to be there in children from an early age. It is not something that only when I turn 60 or 50, that I have to. So that respect for the environment, that respect for people around, respect for feelings of people, all of that is very important. And that's, again, you have to model it as a parent.
True.
I can't tell my child, don't tell lies, and I am doing things where the child can easily see that, what I'm saying is not what I am doing.
True.
So as a parent, if I am able to consciously raise my children with that value system, invest time and energy on my children to bring them up, that requires more patience. It's very easy to make everything and give it to someone. But to get something made from someone is more, is more demanding.
It does take a lot
As
of
a parent, that is the effort that I have to make. So you have to bring up your children and equip them to be able to take correct decisions and be good, strong human beings who believe in what they are doing and what they are standing by, and becoming role models for others. So from a young age, they should carry that feeling that today, if people are trusting me, I have to become trustworthy and live up to their trust. If my parents are investing in me, I have to give back that investment by growing up to be an individual and making my parents and my teachers and everyone proud of me. So these thoughts, you see, unfortunately, what we think that what is in the books, if we teach them, the other things which are out of the book, which are lessons of life, children will learn. We take them for granted. No. Teach them lessons of life, books they will read.
That's a very strong message coming from an educator. And I'll be very honest with you in saying this, that not too many educators are bold enough in saying this straight point, the way you said it, that, teach them the lessons of life and books will be well taken care of. And I think if this message sinks in, if the parents are watching this, if this message goes in with you, if you can sink in with this message that prepare them for life and rest, everything will be taken care of, is something that can turn around the whole journey of your child and your own parenting journey as well. And then I picked up something from you when you said, it's important that parents be role models. And there's a funny story that goes around that this child goes to the school and the teacher teaches the child in the early years that signals, about the signals: red means stop, green means go, and yellow means wait and watch. And this child comes back home and out of all excitement says, dad, I learned about the signals: red means stop, green means go, and yellow means watch. So the mother is actually observing the conversation between the child and the father, and the mother says to the husband, why don't you take him around and let him tell you about the signals? And so the dad takes the child on an experiential journey. The child says, dad, it's red, so we must stop. So the dad is following the rules. Now, the same evening, they go out for a party and they are returning, in the midnight. and the dad is driving, the child is sitting in the front seat, and the mother is sitting at the back, and there is a red light, and the dad, speeds through the red light, and the child is like, dad, but that was a red light. And the dad says, beta, raat ko chalta hai. And the child is now, you know the whole understanding has gone for a toss, and the next morning he goes to the school and says, you know what, ma'am, you only taught me the rules for the day and not for the night. And the teacher was puzzled with the whole idea. And the teacher ends up asking, what do you mean? And of course the child narrates the whole thing, what happened. And then the parent is called out at the PTM. So I think all the parents watching this, you really get the message. Don't do as I do, but do as I say doesn't work. I don't know who gave this quote, but it's a brilliant one. Don't do as I do, but do as I say. It just doesn't work. Now, madam, the ultimate one and the last one that I would want to ask you. I know that this can go on forever, and yet what I have, something that I would really want to ask is, what skills should kids learn early in life that will make a huge difference? What is it that they can learn early in life? I know that you answered it partially, but if we can have some thoughts on the same. What skills should kids learn early in life, which will help them to become successful in the real life? And what's your take on the same?
So, actually, what should be the age appropriate skills is how the school actually works. If I talk of our school, GD Goenka, Sector 48, Gurgaon, I'll just quickly take you through that little journey of school only, because if you look at a child who's just entered school,
Yes.
so the most important thing for that child is to be able to make connections with the school, make connections with the teacher, make connections with the program, feel comfortable and secure doing what he or she is doing, so that gradually they start believing in what is being done. And at that age, what is very important is building their expression, building their confidence, and taking them through the little stories of value, culture, celebrations of festivals, so that our children know that whatever they are doing, what is the essence of all that, and grow with confidence. Now this is something that the children we should do with them at an early age. So when we do our celebrations of festivals, it should be, because all Indian festivals have a core value. We are doing the celebration is always of a value. Now that value needs to be highlighted. A lot of times we do a celebration, but we forget ye kyun mana rahe hain? Why are we celebrating this? If Raksha Bandhan is being celebrated, it is to value the relationship of a brother and a sister. What is so special about that relationship? What is so special about Karwa Chauth? Why is Diwali celebrated? Gurpurab, all of that. So the values have to be, the children have to be, that's how you can take them into values, so that they connect not only with values, they connect with culture, they connect with your country, they start taking pride. It is important that a youngster takes pride in whatever they are doing at an early age, because that's what will put them inside high self-esteem, high self-confidence, okay, along with staying grounded. So with that, then we build on their proficiency in other skills. That is the next stage. And then as they grow up, helping them take small decisions. In school, it's like choose which field of art you want to excel in. You've taken that experience, now reflect upon it and work upon it. Make your choice so that you are responsible. So when the children are turning teenagers, make them more accountable, make them more responsible. Allow them to take decisions so that even if they go wrong, they know how to take a better decision later in life. So equip them with that, so that by the time they come to the last 4 years of school, they are empowered, they are confident, and they are able to make their own decisions and take charge of their life. So that when they go out of school, they are not misled, because you go into an environment of freedom when you are going out of school.
Yes.
So what is very important is that the child has clarity of what I have to do and what I don't have to do, so that they learn to handle that freedom correctly, and they are not lost in the big world. So this is how the journey of the school, along with a complete support from family in terms of family values, so that the foundation for life is laid in these 14 years. And after that, the winds of change and the cyclones of COVID or any such thing does not impact the children. It only makes them evolve and become better individuals.
And I think very, very powerful message, very powerful. And I love the whole idea of what you said, and it's so true. And I realized that I suddenly saw a blind spot for me, for myself. When you said that we celebrate all the festivals, yes, we do, and we do it in a big way. And sometimes we miss on putting the essence out, that why did we even celebrate. And I think that's a huge message that's coming out. And all the parents, I kind of felt guilty of not focusing on as much as essence that I should. But nevertheless, it's learning is a full-time thing, and I learned a valuable lesson here as well. I'm going to get back to the next celebration and ensure that the essence is integrated in a better way. And all the parents watching out there, I think when the suggestion that madam gave in terms of integrating the essence of a particular festival will not only help them grow in knowledge, but will also give them a wide spectrum, will also instill a few values around the festival, which will come in handy throughout their life. So I think the way you explained about the whole curriculum, how it makes a difference, I think a lot of what you said can be also picked up by the parents, and they can implement the same back home. And I remember an educator talking about decision making. So this particular family has given the budgeting of the monthly ration and the monthly grocery to their 16-year-old son and 13-year-old daughter. So it's a brother sister, and they manage that what is available at house, what is not available, how much do we need, what is left in the stock. And I think this, because decision making again is going to be a lifelong process, and if these things are taught early, they really make a difference. And
That's what makes them responsible. You see, otherwise it's very easy for me to blame you for everything that is going wrong. But when I take that responsibility and ownership and become accountable,
True.
is when I will become careful and cautious about the decisions that I'm taking.
True.
And that's how the learning will come there.
True. True. So brilliant. This is a brilliant conversation that took place, and all the parents watching out there, I know that, and I'll be straight enough in saying to this point to all the parents out there, I know that you are not. I know that you're not going to implement all what you heard. I know that. It's as flat as it can be. But if you can implement some part of it, 10% of it, 15% of it, 20% of it, and if you apply it, because it is in application that the difference will lie. If you apply this rich wisdom that came from madam to you, if you apply this, it will make a huge difference, because I have seen a lot of parents who are getting benefited from the wisdom that's coming from the educators, and your kids will thank you for your effort that you made into raising them up consciously. So madam, it was lovely hearing your inputs. I, not just parents, I being a parent myself as well, and the host of the show, for me also it was a brilliant learning experience. And I really want to thank you for your time, for your brilliant inputs, and all that you brought in with personal examples coming from different areas of life. I'm sure it does make a difference to the viewers, and when they implement all of this, it's going to have a trickle down effect on generations to come. So thank you very much.
In fact, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you, Kamalneet Singh ji, for coming out with this idea, because this is something that uh, me and my husband and our family, we strongly believe in, that if you raise your children with responsibility and right set of values, and if every parent takes that responsibility, and every individual, every child is raised as a good citizen of the country, of the world will be a good place.
True. True.
So, it's all in the hands of the parents.
True. True. It is. So parenting, I believe, is a superpower,
Yes.
and if handled well, it will make a difference to our world, to our society. And thank you very much, madam, for your time. And it was really an honor to have you on this series. and looking forward to more such sessions with you.
Thank you. It's indeed been my pleasure. And if I have a couple of minutes, I would like to just give a small little story at the end of it to
Why
you
not?
know sum up
Please,
whatever you have said. So
please.
this story is very close to my heart. So it is about a sage in a village who is supposed to be a very wise man, and he has answers for all questions, is what the villagers believe in.
Okay.
So once there is this boy who comes from outside of the village, and when he gets to know about this person, so young as he is, he says it's impossible for anyone to know all answers. I will find any such question where I can prove him wrong. And with that thought, he gets an idea. So the idea is that he takes a butterfly and he says, I will take it in my hands and I will take it to the wise man and I'll ask him, is the butterfly dead or alive? If he says it's dead, I'll make it fly. If he says it's alive, I'll press it. So, with this thought, he says, now I'm going to prove him wrong. So with his friend, he goes to the sage and he applies the same trick and says, since you know everything, just tell me in my hands, the butterfly that is there, is it dead or alive? So the sage, with his wisdom that he carries, he just gives the answer in one line, one sentence, and he says, child, it's in your hand. It's
Wow.
completely in your hand. Sab aapke haath mein hai. So I think that is the message that I would like to give to the parents. Dear parents, it's in your hand. The child and the success of child and the happiness of the child and the world is in your hand. The way you will bring up your child is the way the world will be. So take care of it.
I'm moved by this story, and a very powerful one. And I think it sums up everything. Uh, it leaves nothing unsaid. It sums up everything, and yeah, I think that's one that I think I'm going to keep it. Some stories are very powerful, and they move you, and this is one of them. So all the parents out there, take the essence of the story and take charge. I think that's what the message would be. Take charge because it's actually in your hands. Thank you for this lovely story, and thank you for your time as well.
My pleasure.
Thank you very much.